Good morning. It is just pushing 8 in the morning and we woke up at 2 this morning, left Copenhagen at 3, spent 3 hours on the motorway to get here for 6-7 o'clock, and we have arrived on the very west coast of Denmark to go oyster hunting. We're going to hopefully wade out into these oyster banks and see what we can find. This is our first trip. I'm with my friend Esben and his wife Vivian, and we are going to see what we can get today. We've not tried this before, like I said, but we've read it should be a very good area, and let's see what we find out there. I'll just show you the area quickly. So right now we're looking west. In the very distance will be my home country of England. Straight up there somewhere. Already we had a look down on the beach before we got changed, and we did see some oysters already, so things are looking promising, and the tide was all the way into here before. So in this last half an hour or so, as the light has come up, the water has receded so much, and apparently all these islands we see here, all the little bits sticking out, they are oyster beds, apparently loaded with thousands of oysters. So there's nothing to do but crack on and get to it.
Millions and millions of Shanghai. Yes, all of these black mounds are just Shanghai.
Shanghai, I guess that means oysters.
Yes,
Shanghai.
Shanghai.
Shanghai. Learn a new word. Okay. I cannot believe how fast the tide has moved out. Literally half an hour ago this was covered in water, and now it's receded about 15 meters.
Here we have the
First oyster.
first sign.
Half an oyster.
First sign of
Perfect,
oysters.
perfect, perfect. A mussel. There are so many clams here. You could really cook up a good seafood pot. Okay, this is exciting. First touch of... See? There it is. Ooh, look at that. Almost a full razor clam. It'd be... Is this? Is this? We have our first oyster. We have our first oyster. Is this one? Look at the size of this. My god, that would have been a big one. I guess we have these gigas species of oyster that can be found. I did a little bit of research on the way over. These get absolutely huge. Check out the size of this one.
Oh wow!
I think we have the first oyster.
That is a big one.
This
oh,
one?
Wow, yeah. Actual oyster. Yeah.
Oyster and a half.
Yeah. I don't know if you can use the half for anything.
Man, this is...
You want to keep this or?
Yeah, let's chuck it in there in case we get nothing else.
In case we get nothing else, my man. Did you see?
Oh, this is fun. I guess lots of other people have been here as well. These must just be the remains from the birds this morning, and also what other foragers have managed to find along the way. These black mounds look super interesting. I mean, if this is a sign of things to come, then I think we're in for a good haul. We have to use our time efficiently while we're out here. We can literally see the current, or what's it called, the tide, pulling out.
there are so many oysters that
that took no time at all.
Nice
Literally just walking out to the first bank we came to, and there were 2 oysters already on the way, in and among all of these clam shells and mussel shells. If you look closely enough, you can see a couple of oysters. Is that one perhaps? Slightly open. Very small one right there coming along. But it's very deceptive, it's actually quite hard to see. There's one right there. Spiky one. Interesting. Let's get these in the box.
Yes, but it's kind of like a weird shape. We can afford to be picky with the oysters here. Only the ones that are easy to open. Okay, so then we just park this here. And walk around. Yes, they're not waterproof. They're to protect you from getting cut, not to protect you from getting wet.
So far so good. The first 5 minutes of just walking out from the beach, we've stumbled across solid 10 oysters that we've taken with us, but literally standing on these, they are clam beds, but in and among these clams there are so many oysters. At the moment we're just waiting for the tide to recede a little bit more so we can make our way across that way, but I will show you what we managed to get so far. Pretty decent haul so far, but literally there are thousands in these oyster beds, but they are quite small. I mean, there's a decent one there. There was a huge one somewhere over here somewhere, but it had been opened. Was it there? Look at the size of this one.
来，已经打开了，这太大了 ，super huge. Looks like a duck's mouth.
Yeah, it does like a duck. Maybe it is a duck. But hopefully the next couple of minutes, when the tide runs out a bit more, we can get across. My welly boots are not very high up, so we'll see. Maybe we just brave it. But so far, so good. So we've just been back to the car to dump the batch of oysters down and come out again literally just a few minutes later, and it's crazy how fast the tide turns. Not 1 hour ago when I was doing the filming of the tide coming out and showing you how it looked, now I'm in exactly the same spot and we can see the tide coming back in. Yeah, I can definitely see the water's filling back up again. I have a feeling if I'm here too long, I'm going to be walking without shoes on to get back. Shoes or socks. Wading through the water, which is also quite nice. I don't mind a bit of cold water. Well, I do enjoy being in the sea. You can see where we stepped. We walked here just a short while ago, and that's already half a foot deep. Wait, if I don't fall over. Another nice haul.
Yeah, nice little quick haul.
Very nice.
My good sir.
Served on a silver platter.
Your oyster buffet.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, we really had to optimize our time out there. The tide turned quite quickly and actually we're back in on the shore. I had to be carried out across one of the channels because my boots were not high enough. So yeah, luckily we made it back safe and sound, but we have a huge haul. I've been collecting a couple of mussels as well as oysters. So the plan is to make a moule frite at some point, maybe hopefully tonight if I can find the time. But yeah, I would also like to get some of these clams, but most of them seem to be dead or opened. Oh, maybe there's one. Are they cockles? Are they clams? I can't remember the name. I've seen so many videos online where they say what it is, and I'm just can't remember a thing. But now we're back on this sort of muddy bank away from the oysters. About to head back, clean up, and get prepped for the 3, possibly 4 because of traffic hour journey back. Let's have a look at the haul. See how Esben is doing, carrying, I don't know, 20 kilos maybe. The box is already cracked.
好，大家请给我们2万的心，我们还要去。
Yeah, so it's really worth the trip out, even coming from Copenhagen, leaving at 6 in the morning. No, it was 4 in the morning we left. Even worth driving for that many hours to come out here, because it really is impressive to see how many oysters there are. Big ones as well. I think these are the Pacific oysters. I don't know if they're the invasive species. He just had to give up. Yeah, I think the Pacific oysters. Something about a story about Chinese shipping vessels coming across with the oysters stuck onto the hulls of the ships, dropping into the oceans and then becoming an invasive species. Something to do with that. Either way, we're very happy to have them here. That means we can come out and get a feast and enjoy a nice day out on the beach. Yeah, it's overcast, it's foggy, it's grey. Not beautiful weather, but it is a great day out for sure. Definitely recommend. I'd love to come back and try a few different spots. There's a place further south called Ribe, R-I-B-E. That's also supposed to be really good. But now we are up in Esbjerg, just north of, I mean it's a bit concerning, but north of this power plant area. We've been following the advice from the Danish food, the food authority, that we are going to cook these for a minute at a high temperature because they can include some viruses. I did open one and taste one on the way. I didn't eat it, I just got a taste of it, which I suppose that's also risky in itself, but I didn't actually swallow it. So just because it's, better to play safe. But it tasted great, it tasted fresh, had the saltiness, the clean sort of smooth, creamy flavour that you would expect from an oyster. So they taste pretty good. I think they are as good as any other oyster. You always have the doubts when you're out foraging yourself, is the area clean, is the water clean, that kind of stuff. Are you going to be putting anything bad into your body, that kind of stuff. So natural reactions and natural concerns, I suppose. But we are back safe and sound from the tide that will be returning, so within the next 45 minutes to 1 hour this water is going to come all the way back up here and come along up to there where you can see, yeah, just there. That was more or less our day out here. We have the trip back and then cooking up a feast a bit later on. That'll be really nice.
This is quick when I don't have to lug this thing around.
So I'm left here by myself. Where are they? There. My friends are leaving me, abandoning me. I'm stuck on the west coast of Denmark. Can anybody come pick me up, please? No. What we're doing instead actually is going out to buy a new box, because in our efforts to carry the oysters up to the beach and distributing the ice across for the journey back, we're just going to end up with a very, very wet car. So they're going to go get a new box. They're going to bring it back, transport the oysters across, and we're going to have a very dry car journey home. And in the meantime, I'm going to stay here, protect our treasures, and hope that I don't get rained on too much, and enjoy the view. So we just spent the last 45 minutes or so cleaning the oysters or moving them across into different boxes, sorting them out and putting them on ice. And in the meantime, take a look at that. You can't even see where we've been. All those oyster beds are now completely covered by water, and that actually gives me some reassurance in the fact that they might actually be fresh, because with all of those mussel beds exposed earlier, I was a little bit in doubt as to how long they've been exposed to the air, not so much the sun, but just exposed where they're not covered by water. But this provides me with some good reassurance that they are covered by water. They're going to be, you know, very well, they're going to be thriving and only subject to anything that could be in the water and not drying out and getting any kind of bacteria. So right now we are throwing the oysters that we're not keeping back into the water, the ones that were just not good. And
Crazy is that?
yeah,
Gone. A couple hours ago, hour and a half ago, you could look a kilometer out to sea. Tons of oysters, tons of mussels. Now, just looks like any other place.
yeah, just a regular beach.
Wild.
You would have no clue that there are thousands of oysters, literally thousands of oysters out there. That will do it for our trip out to Esbjerg, out to the beach down there. We are now heading to find some food, another bag of ice, and then back home. 4 hours in the car to Copenhagen from here. That was a really good trip. Let's see how the food turns out. We finally made it back to Copenhagen. It is 6 p.m. and I didn't take many with me because I'm not actually here for very long. We got some extra ice to keep them cool for the 4-hour car journey. And what else? Look, we have... Just flip. I got some of the giant oysters here, some more of a decent size like this, and a decent amount of mussels as well. So I'm going to see what I can do with these. Maybe I can freeze them. I'm going to do a bit of research into that. But I'm going to dump this all out into the sink, start washing them off, and just sort of prep them for storage. I do have to leave again in half an hour for something else. Lovely. Actually quite a lot. I'm going to start washing some of these, put them over to the side to dry, and I'll show you how that looks in just a minute.